I see a small percentage of practices, really, but this seemed like a spirited one.
I just said that to my team. These guys deserve some credit. It was a long trip. We met last night, had a good practice today. This team enjoys being around each other and it enjoys practicing, and it was really good. I just had to educate them that cold weather isn't all bad. They said it's going to be brutally cold, take care of yourself. I said it's not that bad. I survived it for 20 years.
Take this in the spirit it's meant, but is it a tough prep when you're playing for a team that you're supposed to beat?
Yeah, it's always a tougher prep, and I don't know who we're supposed to beat anymore just because the records are one way. This team's got a guy that scored 44, 41, 30, 36. It's hard. Kobe Bryant did that, and that's about the only guy I know that did that in Coit, and he's really good. They're very small compared to a lot of teams. They're extremely athletic, well coached, and have shot it up and down, but they take a lot of shots, a lot of threes. So yeah, it's concerning. I mean, we just came off the road trip. You worry about that a little bit. Last year, if you remember, we came back and we're sleepwalking through the first half of the Oregon game. So we're trying to learn from our mistakes and prepare for it accordingly.
You play a team like Maryland that's had some downs this year, but they got talent. Like, what are, I guess, maybe the cautionary things that you kind of look at with a team that maybe, like, at this point in the year, knows it needs to win?
Yeah, people are hungry to win. You look at Northwestern last night at USC, and, that's the way it is. I mean, it's good coach, and he's a good coach. He's had success at Marquette. He's had success at Texas A&M. So he can coach, and he's a tough coach. So they'll be ready to play. We got to be ready to play. And it's a big weekend for us. It's an alumni weekend. It's getting home for the first time in a while. It's an exciting time for us. We got to make sure we're more excited than they are. And we might make sure we're more hungry than they are. And that'll take discipline. It'll take our juniors and seniors to educate guys in the locker room and see what we do.
You talked about getting Jackson more shots. For a guy like that, who you say is one of your hardest workers, does that make the level of concern low when you got a guy that's had two off-scoring games where he'll just get his...
I have no concern about that, to be honest with you. He got in foul trouble in the last game. They did a decent job. We didn't do a very good job. And he missed a lot of wide-open shots the game before. He's back on track today. Of all the people I worry about, he's last on my list. And I say that, and we need him. But I'm not at all concerned with Jackson.
When you talk about learning from last year, is there anything you do different to try to manage fatigue on the back end of a trip or anything like that, or to get him reacclimated to all this?
Did it look like I was worried about fatigue?
Not really.
No, I never worry about fatigue. No, yeah, I told him, take care of yourself, get to bed, get some rest, eat better, keep some liquids in you. I'm kind of liking the cold weather because that keeps people in the house and warm and everything. So I always said, boy, we didn't have an advantage. If I coached at UCLA, I'd have problems. I'd probably be out surfing along with the players. So this is a better situation. But that's the only thing I told them. They know where they are right now. I mean, we have some goals we'd like to obtain, and winning Saturday would put us one step closer. Excuse me, to a couple of them.
Kind of a weapon can Cohen Carvey if he can get the shot like he did.
Yeah, he'd be a hell of a weapon. That's why I don't give up on him. I know how hard he works. I know what he does. I know how hard he's worked on the free throws. I say it's mental, but I've seen, as I always tell my guys, remember when John Smoltz couldn't throw a strike? Some of you don't know who John Smoltz is, but Fred does, and so really that's all that matters, and I do. But most of you do, and it happens to the best of them. They have to learn, they have to work their way through it in practice, get their form and everything right, which he's done, and then get the confidence and to be consistent in a game. And the way he shoots free throws in practice and what he's done in the last two games, I feel bad for him. But I don't, if he wasn't working on it, I'd be worried about it.
So that shot release in the form has gotten better.
Oh my God, remember when it was back here? And he's done a hell of a job. I mean, he's starting to rebound better. He's playing defense better. He's been a much better leader. Draymond Green didn't do everything overnight. It takes time sometimes, and we're all hoping for Cohen because we all know Cohen is an unbelievable kid. But be a cold day in hell before I give up on him.
And the shot release shows itself with some of that off the dribble 15 feet.
Yeah, he's getting
pull-up.
better at that. He's just getting more comfortable and confident. You know, confidence, like I told you a couple of weeks ago, you know. If I could wave a little wand and say, hey, Freddie, be confident, you know, that would be great, but it doesn't work that way. And he's working his way through it. He's in here every morning. He's in here at night. That's all I ask him.
How's Caleb's confidence in being able to be out there practicing with the guys?
Well, that was the first time. First time he really, you know, went through live stuff. And so I don't know. I didn't get a chance to talk to him after, but the guys were all fired up for him, and he's a pretty good player.
Back half of the schedule when your guys have to go against him, how much does he help prep them?
I think he's going to help them a lot. I think they're going to help him a lot. I think getting the chance to play now is going to really help him for next year. But I think he'll help our guys. I mean, he's big and strong and he can shoot the ball. So he can play he could play 4 different positions right now, 2, 3, and 4. And that'll help our guys a lot.
When you talk about Maryland playing a little smaller sometimes, where will that put stress on for you guys? I'm thinking Cam will maybe have more in his play in a situation like that.
Yeah, Cohen could play a little more 4. Cam definitely should play more. And yet Cooper's done such a great job guarding a lot of, you know, they've got a guy, Saunders, that 6'8", but athletic, and he can shoot it as quick as any guards that I've known. So that creates some problems for us.
So 5 straight wins. What do you, besides defense at the 2-guard position, what are some other screws you want to get tightened up right now? What are some areas you'd love to see?
Our offense is still not. Sometimes we're just walking and standing, and we've been very critical of that in film sessions. So we would like to still continue to grow on our offense, and yeah, we'd like to get our defense shored up with a couple of guys, and we'll work on that. But trust me, we got a lot of things. The turnovers, even though in this trip we had 10 turnovers, we turned it over twice at the very end. So I thought Oregon was pretty good, and Washington was unbelievable. You know, we got 5 turnovers for the game, and we got 65 shots up, and that's what happens when you get less turnovers. So that's still a concern because we haven't been great all year. We've been decent.
I don't want to ask you directly about the Bediako situation, but as a coach, with all this stuff that's continual, I mean, it's been since the beginning of the year, how do you try and monitor that? Or do you have kind of someone that, you know, keeps an eye on all these cases that keep popping up with different eligibilities and guys coming up? And how do you kind of navigate that?
I just get mad. I don't follow it to worry about the cases. It's pretty evident that I have no say. The coaches have no say. And coaches are doing what they want to do, and, you know, I get a kick out of it, though. Some of them are coaches that are calling and complaining a year ago about it, but hey, when in Rome, do like the Romans, I guess. If that's the way it is. I think that one supersedes the other jokes, the way it went. And I recruited Bediako, so I know. So I, not biting on that one. Not that you're doing it to bite on it. Utterly ridiculous. And yet we have judges now doing it. We have Congress not jumping in. We have the NCAA with no say. So it's the Wild Wild West. So be prepared for anything. And I'm just going to keep my guys. I'm going to keep being different. I'm going to keep my guys. I'm going to the transfer portal for sure in the spring. I'm going right to my locker room, and I'm going to try to keep every frickin' player I got. How's that?
How's Jackson's journey been overcoming his injury 2 years ago and expanding his game as a player and a leader on your team?
I think Jackson is the perfect Spartan because he's gotten better every year. He's had to overcome some things. He's gotten better, you know. He was a great post player. Then he went from, you know, struggling to guard somebody. Then he changed his body. He couldn't move very good. He couldn't jump very high. Now he's a better jumper. He was always a good rebounder. He's become a great rebounder. He's become a better defender. Now he's expanded his game that he can shoot the ball. He's my perfect Spartan, you know. He's this year's version of a Draymond Green, that he just kept getting better every year, and he's a perfect example of why you stick with players and why players should stick with a program, because there's no confusion on what he does. He's going to be a folk hero here because everybody loves what he does, and I know I love what he does. So I think the best part about him is he's earned it. This is his home. This is where he lives, and he's reaping the benefits of what he's accomplished and what he's done. So, gotta love a guy for that.
Seeing Trey hit a couple shots for you the other night, did that sort of show that I guess he's still in it, I guess?
Yeah, you know, I mean, listen, guys, I mean, no, they weren't jokes like everybody thinks on the curve stuff, or they weren't this and that. I've been pretty upfront about the issues we have and the problems we have. And yet, if I didn't think they could be fixed, I'd give up on it. I know they can be fixed. And, you know, so Trey hit a couple shots, and, you know, Cohen hit a couple threes, making some progress. And then tonight, film sessions, a little more film sessions with the guards to try to maybe work with them on how to guard somebody. And we're going to improve in that area. We really are. And if we don't improve, blame me, because we're going to improve in that area.
That said, you gave up 52 out there, too.
Yeah, I know. That's how screwed up the head coach is, you know. But at the same time, they shot, 45%, you know. It's a little more than we would like. But I'm just looking at the big picture, and, you know, can we guard people that we're going to need to guard in space? This will be a good test for that, because they have some guys that you need to guard in space. And Coit is about as exciting a player as you'll see in this arena, because how do you get 45 points? You know, you haven't had many people that have done that, and he can do it with some pizzazz. So, and a lot of respect for him.
I would think some of it is just the shots that other teams are getting. You might not be making them. You know, some of them is them not making it. So I'm sure that's.
Yeah, I mean, we go through the film, and, you know, if a guy gets beat one-on-one, you know, I got a problem with it. If he doesn't know his, you know, what I used to like about the guys that weren't that quick and athletic, Travis Waltons of the world, Denzel Valentine's, Draymond Greens, they weren't Tom and stuff, or Gary Harris, but they studied film, they figured out what the tendencies are, and they acted accordingly. So I got to do a better job of that. That falls on me.
If you talk to your 9.5-year-old mother this week,
Oh yeah, my mother.
she's okay.
Yeah, she's great. Yeah, she's. I think she's working out now. Called her today, and she was seriously doing a little exercise program. I think I motivated her. You know, and I want to make sure you guys understand something. Coaches have sayings and idiosyncrasies and things that I must have said that 100 times. In all fairness and honesty, number one, I ain't worried about Kirk, because I told him that 100 times. You know, I told him that in every practice. So because some producer kind of doesn't do his job, and I hate to rip the producer, but we allow people in the huddles. Some huddles are going to be different than other. That one was calm, so it wasn't a big deal to me. You know, that was calm. There wasn't a lot of UP language in that one, so it was good. But you still pick and choose, and you know, I have some producers that I would trust. I'll never forget the time I was wired with Steve Sable. Do you know who Steve Sable is?
Yeah.
NFL Films. And Mariucci called me and said, "Want to do a show on us?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Yeah, Steve Sable, you know," so he comes up to the UP for the tournament we had. So now he wants to get both of us during our game, so he goes out to San Francisco, gets Mariucci. So Mariucci calls me and says, "Steve Sable wants to interview you at Temple because their headquarters is in Philadelphia." And I said, "Well, where does he want to interview me?" He said, "Well, he wants to mic you." And that was back then, you know. I said, "I ain't being mic'd," you know. I said, I was crazier then than I am now. I said, "I'm not going to be mic'd." He says, "Oh, yeah, Steve Sable wouldn't. He doesn't hurt any NFL guys, any coaches. He's great." So back then when you got mic'd, you had wires coming out of all areas of you. You know what I mean? It wasn't just a little pin. It was wires all over taped to you. And so I'm in the locker room getting taped up before the game. We have a 16-point lead, and we lose the game by one, and Pepe Sanchez hits a shot. And them last couple of minute huddles were interesting. And I walked in there in the locker room, and he starts taking off my stuff. I said, "Steve, Mariucci promised me." He says, "Don't worry, he did a hell of a job, you know." Some guys now, you know, it's like when I talk to you guys off the record and on, somebody's going to screw me on that. You know what? So be it, because I'm upfront about it. I tell you what I expect. I tell you, and I didn't think anybody did anything that bad. I mean, hey, Kerr heard it 100 times here, and if he guarded better, he wouldn't hear it.
I bet you Judd wouldn't have dealt well with those live mics.
I was the live mic in Judd's huddles. No, he wouldn't have done well.
Any truth that Greg Gard reached out to add your mom midseason?
You know, I got to admit, I hate the social media, you know it, but I got some of the pictures, and it's, you know, my mom said I could fly in her coattails now that she's more famous than I am. But you know what? Got her to a workout today, so who knows? Maybe she'll start practicing.
As with Carson Cooper, how important has his growth been since he came in as a freshman? And with a game versus Maryland, the emphasis is versatility and speed. How have you been preparing him for Saturday?
Yeah, you know, Coop's been our one guy that with size. He's way more athletic than people give him credit for, and he's actually done a hell of a job guarding some, what I would call almost guards, you know. And if you look at where Coop started and where he is, I should never be mad at Coop because he's just made progress every year. He's shooting free throws better. He's starting to make shots. Those two kids have improved enormously, as I think Jeremy and Cohen are. You know, maybe it takes a little while sometimes, but where Coop was when we recruited him and where he is now, he's done one hell of a job. And I don't think he's done playing basketball. You know, I think his best basketball is ahead of him. And he's going to get tested because he's going to have to guard 6'6" guys that can put it on the floor. But, you know, he's done a pretty good job from Duke to now. And we definitely, and his leadership has been really good. He's a little more quiet of a leader, but his leadership is really good, and I'm really unfortunate to have him.
Well, that turnaround jumper looks pretty smooth and comfortable.
It does.
For him,
It's starting to look better. You know, he's been working on it, and it takes some time. He got some confidence, but yeah, he's been better. So a lot of good things happening. Unfortunately, we got to keep playing games, and now you become a little more the hunted instead of the hunter. You know, and the interesting is how we respond to some of that. And I think our players are really looking forward to seeing our fans again. You know, we haven't seen them for a while, although the turnouts in Oregon was great, but Seattle was unbelievable. The only thing I didn't get to do in Seattle was see Walker, a running back. You know, I was hoping to get a chance to see him, but our games were an hour apart.
With Cooper, I think I've asked you this before, but in 31 years, where does he rank in terms of guys that the floor that they came in with to the ceiling they reached? I mean, I think like Goins, Wallenman, those guys.
Yeah. You know, Coop has made a lot of strides. You know, with his body, with his strength, with his athleticism. Like I said, with his shooting, rebounding, he's one of our best two-hand rebounders in a long time. So I don't know where I'd put him on that list. I'm just glad I got him now because he's done a lot for me, a lot for the program. He's a graduate. He's a 3.85 student. He's just he's everything except I want him to score more. I want him to do a little bit more here and there. So don't take that as I'm satisfied, but don't take it that I'm disappointed in him because I think I'm lucky to have him.
He still has ceiling left.
Oh yeah, I think his best basketball is still ahead of him. I mean, the biggest mistake I made was not redshirting him, but you never know. I mean. Let me ask you guys.
Next year.
Is he eligible next year?
Yes. The answer is always yes.
I just got to get a lawyer.
Yeah.
Don't
Done
about
deal.
it. Just go for it.
So maybe he'll be back. Who knows? But we should have redshirted him his freshman year, but we played him some. But, you know, he's only, I think he's 21 years old. So, all good, really. I mean, the trip was good. Came back. Gave him a day. We just watched a little film and had a very good practice. Hopefully we'll have good meetings tonight, good practice tomorrow, and early game on Saturday. It might be cold. Who cares?
Might be.
Will be cold. Cold is overrated.
How important are guys like Nick Sanders and the scouting squad to getting everyone prepared for the game?
Let me tell you something. Finally, I got a good question. Are you new here?
Yes.
Are you a student? It's about time you took over for these people that get paid to do this for a living because that's a very good question. My scout team, in 31 years, I've had some good ones. Back when Al Anaganya was on the scout team and Adam Wolf, was probably my best one. this is probably the second best. Because not only do those twins and they work, and now with the addition of Caleb, but they're so smart. They can pick things up. I mean, you know how hard it is to pick up a whole new offense in 25 plays in a night? And nobody ever gives them credit, including me, so thank you for helping me appreciate them. Because Nick Sanders, I'm going to try to talk into staying here a year. He wants to work on his master's and being a GA, because I love Nick Sanders. And the other guys are young, so they got some time.
I wonder about the Waltons. Just watching them a little bit more today, just the fluidity with which they play at that size is like, it seems like that's kind of like similar to Cooper. It's developing.
Yeah, and to think those guys were going to Central, not even going to play. I mean, I think they could play a lot of places, and if they really put their time in, and they put time in, but I mean, really lifted, took care of their bodies, and did some things, and that's my goal for them. That's why I redshirted them last year. Because I think that as time goes, they're going to be able to play somewhere, if not here, somewhere. They both can shoot it. They're both tough. Love those guys. Scout teams, big time. All right.
Back in good.